everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Known Native Leader, a video podcast series where we talk to amazing individuals who were not born in English-speaking countries, though they have managed to achieve a great international career. And as I have anticipated in my post on my LinkedIn profile, we're going to talk to people from various industries, various backgrounds, various countries. And the idea is to get some inspiring stories that you can hopefully relate to and get some ideas on what we need when we want to have, to make that international impact, and when we want to explore further opportunities, And so this is why I really do hope this series will inspire, will engage, and give you some ideas on what it takes, to get out there and to show up and, demonstrate our value, even though the language is not ours, but that's what we are here for. And so today, I'm actually really happy to be with Juan Jose Keena. He's going to tell us what he does, but he's an amazing individual because, as I said, we're talking to amazing individuals who is originally from Spain, but obviously he's not in Spain today, and he has not worked in Spain for a while. And so, yeah, I think this is really an interesting career you've had, Juan. And I don't know, would you like to share something about who you are, what you're doing, a bit of your history, perhaps?
It will be very sad if I say no right now, right?
Exactly. We wouldn't accept no as an answer. Let's say.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hi everybody. My name is Juan. I'm originally from Madrid, from Spain. I haven't lived in Madrid for 20 years now, almost 20 years. So it's been a journey. So my engagement with English started in 2004 when I moved to Ireland, where I met Daniele, actually. We were both working at the same company at the time. However, I wasn't as proficient as Daniele was back in the day with English. To tell you the truth, I didn't actually speak English at all. And I did this stupid thing, which was, I didn't have a choice, but I moved with 8 people that were being transferred from Spain to Dublin to work there for the same company. So basically, I was hanging out all the time with the Spanish people, which is the smarter thing to do, right? So I didn't manage to actually learn any proper English for quite some time, more than necessary when you live in a country like Ireland, actually. My life was basically immersed in Spanish. I was supporting Spanish clients. I was working with Spanish colleagues, and I was living with the Spanish people. So it was really, really stupid. So first takeaway, don't do that. Just don't do that. If you move away, just, try to mingle with the locals, right? So pubs help, as Daniele probably have mentioned a couple of times. So go to the pub, talk to somebody, lose yourself, and that will be okay. So yeah, my career basically started to develop as much as I started to develop my English, actually. So I was really constrained in the company that we were working for because my English level wasn't, to the level that I needed. So I decided to push, obviously, my studies a little bit to hang out with more English native speakers. And eventually, I started to climb the ladder because, it was paying off, basically. As you probably noticed, I still have an accent, so that's okay. Embrace it.
Yeah, good point.
We are all born in different places, right? So, and the majority of the English-speaking people are not native. I can tell you that much as well. So.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, because English is truly an international language. It's the true lingua franca that we use across the globe, and especially in in the field you're working in today. Like I'd say, it's the English field. So what are you doing these days? Tell us.
I'm the CMO of TimeXtender, branded. Yay, there you go. It's a global firm, but a small firm from Aarhus, where I'm based. Aarhus is a city in Denmark, in case you are trying to Google it. It's the second largest city. My company is fairly international in the sense that my team is all distributed across the world. So obviously English, like Daniela has just said, is the lingua franca, the common framework where everybody kind of communicates. Obviously, I'm in Denmark, so my Danish colleagues will speak in Danish and I will grasp maybe 30-40% of what they are saying, because Danish is really difficult. English is not. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm trying to basically do meaningful marketing for this organization. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And obviously, yeah, you work with data and you work with finding solutions, to data management for.
Oh, I can
Is
pitch.
that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah. But
time.
okay, I'll give you 35 seconds to pitch.
I'll be shorter than that. No,
I'm
time
joking.
extender is
Yeah. No, because I
it's
think
a
it's
hot.
really interesting, and a lot of people would actually relate to what you do, So I think this is why it's particularly interesting.
So obviously, right now we live in the age of AI. So everybody talks about data. Everybody talks about artificial intelligence. So what Time Extender does is a solution, a holistic data integration solution. So that means that we take rubbish data from all the multiple million systems that every company has. We put it in order and we ship it to, meaningful data that the business can analyze. So our platform orchestrate all these processes, basically, without getting too technical.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That was short,
No.
but it was interesting.
Elevator pitch.
So it's always good, it's always accepted. So you mentioned the English language. Was that the main challenge for you in your career abroad, Juan?
At the beginning, I think it was, yes. It took me a while. Like I'm not, I think 3 or 4 years to be in a level where I was comfortable talking to people, obviously. So I think that was a hinder in my career. But again, the moment that I started, I think I chose specifically a position where I had no choice other than speaking in English and supporting English clients. So I remember this time that a guy from Manchester called me. I was in software support at the time. So my career has changed slightly. Anyway, so I pick up the phone and this guy from Manchester with a very thick accent starts to talk to me. And I go, I don't understand anything that he has said. So I had to turn around and say to my colleagues, could you pick up the phone? Because I don't think I can take it. So, that was the extreme. So when you put yourself out of your comfort zone in order to kind of, train that muscle, which is basically your brain trying to assimilate a new language. English is not, so you and we come from a Latin root, right? And a
Sure.
Romance. So English is not, it's a Germanic plus Slavic plus, Saxon plus multiple other things. So obviously it is a little bit difficult for us to get to that level. But at the end of the day, 2,000 words will get you, to too many places. The moment that you start to configure what things are.
Yeah.
And then, very conscious at the beginning of, am I saying the right thing? Do they know that I'm from a different country? Yes, they know. Yes, they know. And that's okay. That's not a problem. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I mean, I think when you put yourself out there, people are going to appreciate it because,
Yeah.
people know that English is not your first language. And so we kind of find each other halfway, I think. So I make an effort, you make an effort, and finally we can communicate. So that's I think it's a great point, and that's something that when you find people willing to have a conversation, have a true bonding, that's great, I believe. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting the fact that you mentioned some emotions, being uncomfortable or like wondering, will they understand me? Will they know that English is not my first language? So would you say like those were, would you associate to that part of your career mainly negative emotions or not?
I don't know, it's like everything else, like when you are training for a marathon, it is really painful to get to the marathon level, right? So this is a marathon, right? So feeling okay and feeling confident that you can have a regular conversation with native or non-native speakers in English, it takes training, right? So the more you do it, the better it is. I'm a photographer by passion, so they say that your first 10,000 photographs is just training. They are gonna suck, So just assimilate the fact that you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. Take it with humor. People do take it with humor as well, and you might get a correction. If they get a correction, if you get a little bit of feedback about your English at the beginning, that's absolutely fine. Take it. Oh, thank you very much for pointing that out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's good mindset, I think. So like, yeah, the famous embrace mistake, but also,
Mm.
embrace like feedback, which is something that helps us grow. When obviously, like good feedback, meaning that people don't criticize just for the sake of it, but they want, to truly support, to truly help. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously today things have changed a lot for you because obviously conversation, you work in a global company. So what was the turning point for you, Juan?
I think there was this position in can I say the name or not of the company that we were working for?
Is it legal?
I think it is, yeah, it's legal. No,
Okay,
it's in
then you
my
can say
LinkedIn
that.
profile. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we were both working in Xerox, right? So
Okay, then yeah, it is illegal. It's a legal
and
content, legal
then
job.
and then I had a project management role, which you had at the time actually. Of some sort. And then the idea is that you have to communicate with people all over the world, right? So not only in Ireland, not only with your colleagues, but in India, in Singapore, in all these places that are west to us. Is it? No, east.
It's
Anyway,
east,
so
yeah. I'd
east,
say
yeah.
east, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Singapore and
I'm not
India
a
would be
Boy
east.
Scout. Anyhow, so when you start to realize that all these people are working super hard as well in their own careers and their own positions, and they don't have their own accent, at the beginning, I have to admit that I was struggling a little bit with the Indian accent in video conferences. But then I thought, I'm pretty sure it's the same for some people here with me, right? So they are struggling to get, what is Juan saying right now? So then you realize that you're in a global community. And then your improvement is the thing that you will appreciate, or people will appreciate as you move forward in your career in terms of your language. And then the other inflection point is when I started to dream in English. Does that make sense? Like,
That's a big one. Yeah, that's
that's a big
what
one.
a lot of
And
people
I'm not sure
report. Yeah.
exactly when that happened, but it happened. And then I woke up in the morning and say, "Oh no, this really? I didn't know that was possible." And then my third milestone, I suppose, is when I could listen to the Beatles, the White Album, and understand the lyrics.
That's that's mind
Those are the
blowing,
three.
the first time, yeah, that's a great sensation actually because
Mm,
I know you love photography and you also love music, so obviously that's
mm,
something that it makes you think, wow, I'm getting there. Not
mm,
only I
exactly.
understand, my colleagues, people from the other side of the globe, but I can understand the Beatles. That's
Exactly.
great. That's a great feeling actually. Still remember, I also love music, so I still remember like when I was listening, not getting the lyrics, and then one day, boom, okay, so this is what they're actually doing. That's what they're actually saying here. So wow,
Mm,
that's
mm,
impressive. And yeah, so obviously, I'd say from that turning point, not the Beatles one, the other one, when you
mm.
got the global role, I mean, your career obviously has changed, but also your life, I'd say. So how has your life changed from that moment?
I mean, if it wasn't because I managed to kind of destroy this beautiful language every day, meaning because I speak English and I can understand English and I can read English, I wouldn't have met my wife, you know.
Wow.
Talking about transformative things, that's the most transformative thing that has happened to me. And I wouldn't be in Denmark for sure. So it's kind of a concatenated, you know, level of events, right? So you start working, you learn English, you start to build new relationships that were far beyond what you could imagine beforehand. You start to, you know, absorb new concepts and new ways of living. I live in Scandinavia, which is, by all accounts, very different to Spain.
Yeah, I'd
So
say so, yeah.
I think that's probably the most transformative thing, you know, the amount of knowledge that you can absorb. Like internet is written in English, if you ask me. Like the majority of the content is English, even though, I don't know, the biggest language is Chinese, for example, you know. So go figure. But obviously, internet started in English. A lot of people non-native are writing in English, so the content that you can absorb is in English. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless, basically. So
Yeah.
you are struggling or you say, oh, this is too tough. The reward is absolutely amazing. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, wow, that's great. Yeah, so really you can expand your
Mhm.
actions, your opportunities. It's like a little bit like the ripple effect. So one day you
Yep.
accept a global position, and a few years later you're married, you have a family in Denmark. You know, wait a second.
What
Yeah,
happened?
but
Yeah, what happened?
it is amazing when you put yourself out there and yeah, start using the language. That's these things do happen. So at the beginning, you mentioned something interesting, like mingling. So not making the mistake of being within your own community. So in your case, would have been the Spanish community in Ireland. And would you have other recommendation, like for people who want to have an international career, like you?
Um, so I think for me, moving to a country where the English is the common language, and that can happen here in Scandinavia as well. Obviously, they have their own language, but everybody communicates in English. I think that's super important. At least for me, that's what I learned. If you don't have that opportunity, uh, for multiple reasons, economically, socially, whatever the case might be, just try to find those pockets in each city. There is always a place where you can go and hang out in English. It happens everywhere, at least in medium-sized and bigger cities, it happens all the time. So um, if you cannot do that, just try to find the closest pocket, basically to that, right? So whether it's a pub, a library, a community theater, whatever it is. Theater is really good. Improv is really good to learn English as well. Those are two things that I would recommend. I've done that and it's really fun. So yeah, just trying to find a stage, so to say, where you can actually practice and feel safe. Be vulnerable, that's fine, but feel safe that you can do that anyway. So
Wow, yeah, it's great advice. I mean, put yourself out there, and yeah,
mm,
mistakes, sure, anxiety, sure, but you know that's how that's how you do things.
mm,
Like there's a great book, can't remember the author right now. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
mm-hmm,
So obviously there is fear. Nobody can hide it, you know. But then once you don't need to really overcome the fear, you need to probably embrace it and put yourself out there, and that's when the magic happens. And you are the
mm-hmm.
living proof, obviously, that that the magic happens because you know
But yeah,
career, family, different countries. So that's
I'm very
what you
lucky,
have.
super
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, well, like you, but you have also worked hard to be where you are today,
Mm-hmm,
I think. Wow, so that's I mean that's been great. I really enjoyed Juan talking to you, and you gave us some great insights on you know putting ourselves out there, mingling with the right people in the right
mm-hmm,
country. So building relationship, not only obviously within your community, but also, you know, expanding your community and at the same time expanding opportunities. So I think that's probably the key message here.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to, well, you want to
Yeah, last thing,
share?
I suppose, in terms of that. So I'm a photographer. So what I did was to try to find I just thought about it, to find a photography club where I could hang out, go for a walk, meet new people, and then do my thing, because that's what I love, no? Photography. So find your, try to align your passion, whatever that is, to learning English as well. That's another thing that you can do.
Fantastic. Okay.
Mm.
Passion and English. Well, Juan, thank you very much indeed for talking to me today. And I mean, I do hope this was inspiring. I feel inspired. I'm not going to take photographs now because I'm not really good at it, but I feel inspired in, sharing your story. And as you say, put your story out there so that I do hope it will inspire more people to, obviously not to have your life, but to get out there and start doing those little things that eventually are going to build up our confidence. So thank you very much, Juan,
Thank you for
and
having me.
thank you everybody for listening. So we'll get back on the next episode where we talk again to other amazing individuals who are non-native leaders. So they have achieved global, international career, even though they were not born in an English-speaking country. So stay tuned and watch this space for more. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.